What's up, guys? This is the new Kreg KWS1000 Mobile Project Center. Now that's a mouthful, so for the rest of this video, I'm just going to call this the table. Really light, 40 pounds, you're able to pick it up, tuck it under your shoulder, and take it somewhere. Now this is the table in the stored position. It's about 6.5 inches wide and 35 inches tall. And right off the bat, the one thing I don't like about this table is the fact that when the tabletops are down, there's no lock. Okay, and it says here on the top that it's a pinching point, and they give you a nice warning sign to tell you to watch out for this. The very first time I loaded this into the bed of my truck, I pinched my finger. And a lot of you guys, I'm sure, have gotten that black bruise underneath your fingernail from a hammer or from pinching it on something. So watch out for that, guys. I don't know why they did not put a lock on here, but it sure would be nice if that locked when it was down. It's really easy to open up. The way I do it is I just put my hand right here on the top track, my palm. Don't put your fingers in there. And I take my foot and I just pull it back towards me and give it a little press, and it's open. Then all you have to do is simply lift up the two tops and you're ready to go. Now, the tabletop is made out of plastic, and it has this track here on the top. And the table comes with a 3-inch reach Auto Max bench clamp. So this track and clamp will slide all the way across the top, and since it has the Auto Max feature, you can clamp your workpiece onto the tabletop, and if you're changing thicknesses, the clamp changes with you. Okay. Can also, on the side here, there are 2 different key slots that you could slide the clamp in as well. So if you have a piece and you want to clamp it off to the side, you could do that as well. Okay. The table comes with 4 bench dogs. Now, the bench holes and the bench dogs are 3/4 inch. And the reason why I'm bringing that up is some of you guys might have some of the festal accessories for the MFT table. Well, these festal, the clamping elements and the quick clamps, they do not work with this Kreg table because these are 3/4 inch holes. The holes on the festal MFT tables are 20 millimeters. Now these bench dogs have a nice piece of rubber on the top of them. So if you have a board and you wanted to do some sanding, it's going to hold the board in place for you. Good enough to do some sanding or some maybe some router work to it as well. And the bench dogs also have a flat front. So if I wanted to set the dogs up in a way to use as a stopping point, and I brought my bench clamp in here, and this piece has some pocket holes drilled in it already. So let's just say that this is the joint I wanted to make up. Well, then I could just simply grab my screws and my screw gun and come in here and make that connection. So you could use the bench dogs as something to support the material with. Inside the table are these 2 locking keys. Okay, and what they do is they allow you to connect another table onto the side, on each side. I'll show you how to do that later. The tabletop has these 2 little trays here that recess into the top. So if you have some drill bits or some screws, you can keep those down below the work surface. Now on the top here, you have some holes drilled out. If you have a K5 or a K4 Kreg pocket hole jig, you can mount that to the top of the table if you wanted to. Now there are two bigger holes here in the back where I'm at, and you could use them for different tools. And if you got a hammer or your cordless drill, you could drop it in there as well. Or if you have a bottle of glue, you could put your bottle of glue in there if you wanted to. Just, you know, make sure that your top is closed, or you could probably even put it there inside one of the 3/4 inch holes as well. But just make sure that your top is closed. The feature that this table has is right along the front here, there is a slot underneath to accept the Kreg wood project clamp, I believe it's called. It's the clamp that has a bigger pad and a smaller pad. Okay, so the bigger pad just goes up underneath there, and it will slide into the table and it will stay there in place for you. So if you have something that you wanted to clamp down, well, then you can clamp it down. And if you wanted to use that as a method to do your pocket hole joinery, well, you could do that as well. You could hold it there in place, and you can come in and screw it together and use that for your clamp. Now there's one thing that I wish Kreg will do, and I hope maybe somebody's watching. I would like to have, this is their 90-degree clamp, and you can tell that this pin here goes into the hole of the pocket hole. So if they put one of their bigger pads onto this clamp, then you could take this clamp and you could slide it in here, and then you could have this as a clamping possibility as well. Let's say, and the reason why I want that is, let's say this is the joint that I want to make. My piece is going to go vertical, and if I am able to slide this in here and then lock it down in place, well, that would be pretty nice, I think. I would be happy with that. Obviously, I can make it work, right? But it would be nice that once I release that clamp, I don't have to worry about handling the clamp. I could just release it and let it hang there. You catch my drift? So, Kreg, if you're watching, take this big pad and put it on this 90-degree clamp for me. Now let's say you don't need the top and you need a sawhorse. Well, there's two latches down here on the bottom. You lift up and the tabletop will drop down. Okay? Now you have a nice sawhorse, but you don't have a sacrificial top here, which is why Kreg gives you these two screws and these two bushings. And what you do with these little bushings is you take a 2x4 and you screw the bushing onto the 2x4. You just take and you slide your 2x4 over. Now I have a sacrificial top. So if I wanted to take something and cut it, without the blade guard, of course, you can come in here then and cut it. Okay, so then instead of cutting into my nice piece of channel, all I did was cut into the 2x4, which can be replaced. Another cool feature about this table is Kreg's new boxes that they're using to sell their screws in. So this box has these lips on all four sides, and the table has a groove that's running along the edge of the table as well. So if I don't want to use this little tray in here to store screws, I can easily take this tray or this box and attach it to the side of the table. And it's really cool. So if you got a big project and you have you need a lot of screws, or if you have a small project and you just need a small amount of screws, you're able to attach the container off to the side, and you don't have to worry about a box of screws being on top of your work surface. Now the table itself is rated for 350 pounds, so you could put a lot of stuff on top of these tables. The work surface here, it's 27 3/4 by 31 1/2. Let me show you how to attach two tables. It's really easy. Again, you get the connectors come inside the table and you just pull them together, basically. And there's only one way to connect them. The track runs with each other. So just line up the spots and then press the connectors into the slots. Okay? So that's it. Now the tables are connected. So I have my table set up to show you what blue brackets are for. Now these brackets come over here on the side, and you want to use the lower two holes. And what that's going to allow me to do is take a 2x4, span the length of the two tables to connect the 2x4s with a piece of plywood. Now when doing so, the parts of the table that are on the inside of the table, they need to fold down so you can get those out of the way. Now you could take any size length 2x4 that you want to use to make this work. Okay, this piece that I have here, this is probably, I don't know, 30 inches or so. We can see that it just snaps in there real nice, and I don't have a really big piece of plywood to show you, but I can give you this as a visual. But basically, you would take that, this whole middle area would be filled with your piece of plywood. Now you've made a bigger table. The way that I have it set up here now, I have it set up to where I could utilize these holes back here and this tray area here in the back, put some stuff in there, okay? I still have my clamping capabilities here, and I can come in here in the front and I could use this front slot for my other clamping pad. So when connecting these two, I think it'd be a good idea if you give yourself this track, this slot here on the front, and give yourself the little cups back here and the tool storage back here as well. So now you've just made yourself a really nice big work surface. I think that pretty much covers it. So check them out, guys. It's the Kreg KWS1000. What is it? The Mobile Project Center. Thanks for watching, guys. Check me out on Facebook and Instagram if you want. The Poplar Shop. All right? I'll see you around. Take care.